Hi there everybody, this is David, and today I want to talk about Starbites. I had a chance to play this a long time ago, like a year ago, back whenever I was invited to PAX West with Orbology, as well as Just the Gems, and I even interviewed the creator back then. But I only really got a chance to play maybe the first hour or two of it, but now I've gotten a chance to play the entire game, and I totally want to tell you all about it and let you know what it's all about, and that's definitely worth a sub as you come and you join the party and you level on up with me. Thank you so much for your sub, your like, and your brand new hype. It helps me out a ton. So, I just got back from vacation, and right before I left, Nice America reached out to me with like, hey, we have a code for Starbites, do you want it? And I said, sure, you know what, that would give me an excuse to play the game, play it on the plane, and I was like, okay, I could spend a couple of hours playing this and figure it out. But I did not expect to not be able to put it down. Every single spare moment that I had in the hotel room, waiting at the airport, at the gates, on the flight home, I was playing this game. I was really actually hooked to it. I was very surprised for that. First of all, things first, you do get a bunch of difficulty options. You get easy, medium, or hard difficulty, as well as English or Japanese voice acting, and there's actually a lot of voice acting here, and it's pretty good too, which I wasn't really expecting. Looking at the graphics and everything, we've all seen better graphics. We've seen better graphics even on the PlayStation 2, I feel, so I wasn't expecting the voice acting to be as good as it was. I will say this though, even though the graphics do leave something to be desired, at least it has its own identity. It doesn't, it doesn't look like anything else. Starbites has its own identity, and I think that's a really good thing. The game takes place on this planet called Bitter, 45 years after this intergalactic war, and then all the satellites and spacecraft that were orbited the planet crashed down onto the surface, and it turned it into what used to be a popular tourist destination planet into kind of a giant wasteland full of junk and ruins. They even call it a garbage planet. Kind of reminds me of Las Vegas, I guess, where I live, where it's this huge desert and everything, but then it turned into a dumpster fire. But yeah, pretty much the entire planet is nothing but desert. I never saw a tree, I never saw water, a lake, a stream, nothing. It's desert and garbage on this planet. You play this girl, Lukita, who is basically drowning in debt that she inherited from her parents, and of course she has her own problems, and the planet is essentially ruled by this woman, Fennec, who's a royal bitch on wheels, and she kind of sends her out to do her own little bidding and all this kind of stuff as she's trying to pay off this debt. But at the same time, Lukita just kind of wants to escape the planet, get a ticket to go off and just soar away and do her own thing alongside her friends Gwendol and Badger. Gwendol is an alcoholic mess most of the time, but she's pretty cool. She likes to blow shit up, and she's really good in battle. Badger is more of the strong and silent type. He has this mysterious backstory and everything else like that, so their whole dynamic there seems pretty entertaining. And as you do go from town to town, you'll meet up with more people and more characters will join your party till you eventually have 6 total characters. Honestly, I will say that I feel Gwendol, Badger, and Lukita got along pretty well, and then they added in a 4th character, Makoto, and she's kind of the childhood genius character, and she's alright. But then, they randomly throw in these last 2 characters who you've never seen before. They got gonna pop out of nowhere, and then both of them join at the exact same time. And it just feels kind of rushed and odd. So I kind of wish that they just kind of let you have a 4-person party and call it a day, But no, you have 6 characters, 2 of which are just kind of there. It's kind of strange. Also, you can't swap them out in battle. It's a 3-character battle system, but you can't swap them out mid-battle like you could in something like Breath of Fire. You can only change your party members in the party menu. Whenever you're in town, you're exploring everything on foot. It's kind of a sideways viewpoint or whatever. When you're out of town, it's an overhead viewpoint, and the game gives you little quest markers showing you where to go. But inside towns, there's no mini-map, and there's also no larger map. But whenever you're outside of towns, there is a mini-map, and there is a larger map, and it becomes suddenly much more helpful. The mini-map shows treasures, enemies, save points, where to go next, all that kind of stuff, and it even gives you fast travel. but you can only fast travel on the world map. You can't fast travel in town. So if you're told to go somewhere, you have to leave town, go out into the world map, and then fast travel over to the next town. Kind of strange right there, and you can only fast travel between towns. You can't fast travel between like towns and dungeons, just the towns, so it's kind of annoying. Whenever you're outside of town, though, you can ride around your motorbot, around the little wasteland and all that, and not only do you travel with it, you also fight with it. It gives the whole game this kind of like Wild Arms mixed with Xenogears, but like a Star Ocean kind of soaring the galaxy sort of thing. You have like this dying wasteland planet like Filgaia from Wild Arms, but you have mixed in with these mechs and interstellar space travel and stuff, so it's really kind of neat, and I like the whole conglomeration of everything there. Remember how in Wild Arms 2 they introduced a scanning function and you kind of had to like scan to figure out where towns are or dungeons or treasures or things like that? They have a scanning thing here, but it's not annoying. It was super annoying in Wild Arms 2. But it's not annoying. I feel like it got even worse in Wild Arms 3. You had to like talk to a townsperson, figure out where something was, then go out and scan it for it to actually show up. It was so super annoying. But it's not annoying here. The scan goes the entire screen. It's huge. It shows hidden treasures. You don't have to scan to find dungeons or anything else like that. And also the scanner shows you where to go. It gives you an arrow, it gives you a direction on where to go, where you're supposed to go to next. So it's actually very, very, very convenient. The combat, it's turn-based, pretty easy to understand. If you've played Octopath Traveler, then you know what this combat is like. It pretty much works exactly the same way. You'll see an HP bar, next to it you'll see a number, and then underneath it you'll see little boxes. And as you attack their weaknesses, they'll show up in those boxes, and the more that you hit those weaknesses, they will break. So, like, let's say that the enemy is weak to punch, but it has a 3 next to it. That means that you go ahead and you punch the enemy 3 times, and then that will break its 3 shields, and then it will be broken, it'll miss its turn, it'll be stunned, and it will take double damage. So that's pretty much how you want to, kill all the bosses and everything else like that, is by exploiting those breaks and those weaknesses. There's also a turn order gauge showing you who acts next, and there's also a fast forward option for the battles as well. Each character is different. They're all like set in their own unique classes, and they all have their own special attacks and skill sets and all that kind of stuff, but there's also a talent tree. And after each battle, you will gain a talent point, and then you can go inside the tree and you can update their stats, you can update their special skills and their abilities and all that kind of stuff. And a nice thing is that you can reset their talent trees whenever you want to without a penalty. So there's no worrying about like setting up a character wrong, if you know what I mean. You can just kind of set them up as you want them to or as you so desire and fool around with it. It's pretty fun. As far as equipment is concerned, there's weapons and then there's armor for the bots. And the bot armor is kind of interchangeable. There's upper armor, lower armor, and sub-frames. And it kind of reminded me of equipping like a robot in Final Fantasy Legend 2 with equipment, because these frames won't just increase your defensive power, they'll also increase sometimes your attack power, your evasion, your speed, your HP, all sorts of stuff. So that's pretty cool. There's also cores, which you install into your armor, which basically function like accessories. They can give bonus, like extra physical attacks, or, stat buffs, extra HP, other effects, things like that. You'll find them in treasure chests. You can't really buy them, but you can craft them in the store. Overall, I really did like the game. Like I said, I really couldn't put it down, but there are some things that definitely annoy me. First of all, at the very beginning of the game, it relies a lot on fetch quests. Rather than just letting you naturally explore the world, it's like forcing you to do these fetch quests to explore the town, whenever really I just kind of want to explore the town on my own. Secondly, the movement kind of feels odd sometimes. Like it feels like, you know how whenever you're on ice and you kind of slide around? I felt like I'm constantly sliding. Even whenever I'm not in my motorbot, I'm constantly sliding and skidding and stuff, which was kind of odd and unusual, and it definitely did irritate me. But my biggest issue, though, was the backtracking. You're going to be backtracking through Bitter pretty often, and again, you can only fast travel between the towns, not between the dungeons, and for the most part, all of Bitter, the planet looks exactly the same. There's garbage everywhere, there's dumps everywhere, there's desert everywhere, and all the dungeons are like technologically savvy, metal, futuristic sort of dungeons. There isn't really any sort of differentiation between the various regions of Bitter and the various dungeons. Same thing with the enemies. You're going to be fighting robotic bot-type enemies the entire time. Not a lot of differentiation there either. So that was kind of unfortunate. I wish that there was a bit more differentiation in what you saw, what you attacked, and the various biomes and regions that you went through. All in all, though, I really enjoyed it. I was stuck on a flight with this game, and I looked forward to playing it. Whenever I got home, I played it even more. I really, really, really enjoyed it. This was not me dreading the game or anything else like that. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Starbites. And it's coming out for the Switch to PS5, Xbox, and Steam on May the 21st. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about the game? Are you going to be getting it? Let me know in the comments, and as always, have a good day.